All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday, April 27th City Council meeting. I will be your DJ for this evening. I am Mayor Pro Tem. The way this works is there's a rotating schedule that determines who the Mayor Pro Tem is in cases of absences from our mayor. And so I believe the next person on the schedule is Councilmember Kelly, just for everyone's reference. We'll start off the meeting with a roll call to establish a quorum.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Here.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Harris.
Present.
Councilmember Isles.
Here.
Councilmember Newsma.
Here.
Councilmember Suffredin. Here. Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
I am here. All right, we've established a quorum. Next up, we have public announcements and proclamations, which we have 4. First up is the World Migratory Bird Day, May 9th, 2026. I will read the proclamation, and then I believe we have Libby Hill in the audience who will come up and take a photo with our city manager. Whereas migratory birds are a visible and valued part of our community, signaling seasonal change and highlighting connections of ecosystems, and whereas migratory birds play vital ecological roles through seed dispersal, pollination, and pest control, yet face growing threats from human activity and urban development. And whereas the city of Evanston, as a designated bird city Illinois community, recognizes the importance of migratory birds and has adopted bird-friendly policies. And whereas through ongoing natural area stewardship and bird-friendly practices, hard-working stewardship groups and city employees have preserved and restored bird habitats. And whereas the 2026 World Migratory Bird Day theme, Every Bird Counts, Your Observations Matter, highlights the importance of individual and collective action. Now, therefore, as I guess Mayor Pro Tem of City of Evanston, do hereby proclaim May 9th, 2026 as World Migratory Bird Day. Libby Hill. Still Councilmember.
Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. And then I'll do a little bit more closer.
Councilmember Kelly.
Sure. I just want to say thank you to Libby Hill and the others who've worked so hard to be engaged to provide, especially the Clark Street Beach Bird Sanctuary, the work they've done on that, and how Libby Hill, back when Northwestern was expanding its visitor center and encroaching on, or using up some of our parkland, really kicked into gear to work with city staff to create this, to expand the bird sanctuary. This is really so meaningful and such a wonderful place in our city. So I just really want to say thank you to Libby and the others. So thank you.
Any other public comments? All right. Next up, we have International Compost Awareness Week, May 3rd through May 9th. Whereas composting is a way of returning organic resources to the soil to restore the health of the soil and enable its essential function in the carbon cycle. And whereas applying finished compost is a proven method of growing healthy food, conserving water during extreme drought, providing resiliency during flooding conditions, reducing water consumption and non-point pollution, decreasing the dependence on chemical fertilizers, decreasing erosion, carbon sequestration and remediating fire damaged lands. And whereas it is critical to recognize composting as an effective form of resource recovery, waste reduction, reuse and recycling, and pollution reduction. And whereas materials such as yard trimmings, fruit and vegetable cuttings, acceptable food scraps and organics are all able to be composted and processed into a beneficial product known as compost. And whereas communities through their local governments, highway departments, soil conservation service and extension offices, and public works professionals can have significant impact on clean water, soil, climate resiliency, and landfill diversion by using compost for projects at all scales. And whereas International Compost Awareness Week is a publicly and education initiative to showcase compost production and demonstrate compost use. And whereas composting creates green jobs and infrastructure for cities and states who implement composting programs. And whereas this year's theme is Compost Feed the Soil That Feeds Us. The 2026 theme was chosen with the goal of highlighting the benefits of composting in agriculture and food production and its role in supporting healthy, nutritious food and, by extension, healthy people and communities. Beyond responsible waste management, composting recognizes the interconnectedness between every person who eats and the earth that provides all of our food, as well as our agency in feeding the earth, our scraps, so that the soil may continue to provide for us abundantly. Compost grows healthy soil, healthy food, and a healthy Illinois. And therefore, as Mayor Pro Tem, we hereby proclaim the first full week of May as Compost Awareness Week. That was a long one. I believe we have Brian Zimmerman, our solid waste coordinator, here to take a quick photo. I'm supposed to hand this off to you. Thank you. They gave me the long one, so.
I'm ready for you to flip the page.
Next one's shorter. Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you, and thank you all for your work on this. And I think we can't kick off this week without mentioning and acknowledging Earlene Howard, who started Collective Resources back in 2010 and served over 3,000 Evanston residents with composting. She really was the one that got it, people really committed and involved. So Earlene Howard, I think she deserves a big hat tip on this tonight. Thank you.
All right, two more. Next up is National Drinking Water Week, May 3rd through the 9th. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas drinking water serves a vital role in daily life, serving an essential purpose to health, hydration, and hygiene needs for the quality of life for our citizens enjoy, and whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designing capital projects, operators ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumers' taps, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current, future generations depend, and whereas the citizens of our city are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem, do hereby proclaim the week of May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as National Drinking Water Week in the city of Evanston. I don't think we have anybody here to collect this, or do we? Oh, yep. Here you go, Luke. right, in the last proclamation, Evanston Public Service Recognition Week, whereas a high quality and professional public service is essential to Evanston's quality of life, and whereas employees are our most important resource, and whereas city employees strive to provide the highest quality services within available resources in a courteous, responsive, efficient, and effective manner, and whereas city employees provide high-quality performance, striving for the highest standards of personal and professional conduct, integrity, and innovation, and whereas city employees serve citizens in hundreds of ways through the city staff in all departments, and whereas city employees represent the city government in their day-to-day interactions with citizens, and whereas the citizens of Evanston deserve a high-quality, professional, responsive public service today and in the future, and whereas to maintain a high-quality and professional public service for future generations, the city must attract and retain talented people with the required skills and who will use those skills in services to the people of Evanston. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Evanston Public Service Recognition Week. I think it would be appropriate on this one. This feels like for public employees, so maybe everybody should come up now, and I will take the photo. Let's go. I need a little guidance from our communications director. Now, we going horizontal, right? Okay. I'm just getting ready. I think I need an angle. This is a big group.
Welcome to being journalists, Bobby.
I know, right? If I don't do it well, you got us as the backup.
No comment.
Very nice.
You getting a good angle there? Because it's hard because all of this stuff.
Yeah,
Like, what do you think?
okay.
Or can we can't move that?
Yeah, they have to come a little closer.
It's the podium that's in
The podium's on wheels.
the
The podium's on wheels.
That's what I was asking, if we can move it, but how far? 'Cause it's got cords underneath too.
Don't tear nothing up back there. We won't be invited back.
Mike,
All right, all good?
it's just the podium's in the way, but it's good. It's the best we can do. All right. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. All right. Thank you.
Got it? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right, next up, we have City Manager, Public Announcements.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and Clerk Mendoza. I have a couple of announcements tonight. First up, we have some friends here from the Illinois section of the American Water Works Association to present an award to city staff. Good evening.
Good evening. So as you previously mentioned, Drinking Water Week next week was established by the American Water Works Association to recognize the essential role water plays in our daily lives and to honor the professionals like Mr. King here who work every day to ensure safe, reliable drinking water for our communities. My name is Laura Morgan, and I represent the Illinois section of the American Water Works Association, and I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize and congratulate the City of Evanston's Water Department for its ongoing commitment to educating and engaging its community and for promoting awareness of water conservation and quality. The City of Evanston is a participant participant in the Illinois section's Water Ambassador Program, an initiative designed to elevate public understanding of the water industry through education and outreach. The program provides a unified communication platform that helps utilities deliver relevant, engaging, and consistent messaging through tools such as website posts. Mr. King was telling me that they've given tours to Northwestern students in local area schools. They have shared links to their water treatment procedures, which are quite interesting if you've never watched something like that happen or don't understand it. They've put out social media posts, water smart messages, water bill inserts to help people understand their billing, and they've provided city council staff with drinking water 1, 2, 3 to help better understand the industry. The program recognizes achievement at 3 levels: bronze, silver, and gold, based on the quality, consistency, and frequency of communication efforts. This year, we are proud to recognize 36 gold-level water ambassadors and 1 bronze across the state, and we are especially pleased to share that the city of Evanston has achieved gold-level status for the 3rd year. So congratulations to the city of Evanston on this outstanding accomplishment, and thank you for your continued leadership in educating the public and ensuring safe and sustainable water for all. Thank you.
Then I'll do another one. So sorry.
As City Manager Stowe makes his way back, we have a former colleague of ours that is walking around the country to raise awareness around economic issues. And as he travels through different states, I won't say which states he's going through because the next thing I'm going to say, water is not as delicious as it is everywhere as it is in Evanston. And so I think that's a testament to the good work of our water department. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Stowe.
Next up, we have friends here from Evanston Cradle to Career to make a brief presentation about changes to the SNAP program. So Kimberly Holmes-Ross and Baxter Swilley, thank you for being here this evening. And we'll have Anderson cue up the short presentation.
Very short. Maybe want to give it to the media. Want to just start? We can just start. I don't want to hold up. Happy Monday in the meantime, while we wait. No, can you start at the first slide, please? That's the last slide. I'm sorry?
The clicker.
Oh, yeah, can you click? There we go. There you go. Okay, so good evening. We're going to speed through this. We did hand out a one-pager for reference for the council members, and we have some for the audience if you're interested. And we did also send over the full presentation for you to look over at your leisure. I'm going to stick to my notes so we can get through this quickly. I am Kimberly Holmes-Ross, Executive Director at Evanston Cradle to Career. We're grateful for this opportunity to have this important community conversation, strengthening our social safety net. Today is about coming together with honesty, urgency, and the hope to ensure that no one in Evanston falls through the cracks. As we begin, I want to ground us in the work of Evanston Cradle to Career, which is proudly celebrating 10 years of impact and rising. For those who may be new to the organization, Evanston Cradle to Career is a collective impact initiative focused on building a system that works for everyone, from birth through career. We bring together schools, nonprofits, government, healthcare partners, and community members to align efforts around shared goals. In other words, wraparound. Our approach is data-driven, community-led, and system-focused. And because we know lasting change happens when people and institutions work together. Today's conversation reflects that same belief. Strengthening our social safety net requires collaboration, accountability, and a commitment to meeting the real needs of our residents. Thank you for being a partner in this work and for helping us move our community forward. So I'm going to pass it quickly to our Community Impact Director, Baxter Swilly.
Hello and happy Earth Month to everyone. I appreciate all of the water and all of the goodwill towards the soil that has been expressed here today. Really quickly, I want to say something about the numbers. Evanston has about 11,700 Medicaid recipients. About 10,000 Evanston residents are using SNAP benefits. And it's estimated that there are about 4,000 undocumented residents in the city of Evanston. These are really big numbers because the newly eligible ACA recipients of Medicaid, there's about 3,100 of them. They are going to be vulnerable to benefit cuts as early as next week, as early as this week. May 1st is May is a critical cliff for public benefits. SNAP is the cliff where we expect the work requirements to begin to push people off of their off of the rolls of SNAP benefits. If you are not found eligible as a result of not meeting those SNAP work requirements, essentially what happens is you'll get 3 months of SNAP benefits over the course of 36 months, over the course of 3 years. Families cannot incur that kind of breach of trust when we're talking about money. SNAP benefits are cash, and the economy is completely unaffordable right now. And if some families who are making up to $940 a month on SNAP, if they lose that money, they could find themselves in dire straits. People are becoming not just food insecure, but housing insecure. So there are income changes. When I began to talk about the immigrant issue, it's important to know that violence against women, the asylees and refugees who are here under the VAWA Act, they are categorically kicked off of SNAP. All of the, so we got VAWA and we got VTTC, victims of trafficking, torture, and other crimes, they are categorically removed from the SNAP benefit rolls. Folks, this is going to be a very difficult challenge for us to face, and I think that the only way we can post it is by doing it together. And so here are a few things that we need to do. Access the no wrong door policy. This is basically wraparound where we have a digital system, and no matter what your problem is, you can access all of Evanston's resources through an online system called ESINS. It's called Empowering Communities Through Integrated Networks. We need to align all of the systems, all of the programs, when we're talking about reparations, we're talking about green home programs, we're talking about emergency assistance, all of that stuff needs to be integrated to ensure that nobody falls through the cracks. We need to help people keep their benefits. Navigating the public benefit network or system is critical. If we had more time, I could really get into that. And then reducing the cliffs. We want to make sure that as many of these people who are exposed to the SNAP benefit cliff are undergirded with some kind of support. There are some people, no matter what they do, they are going to lose their benefits. The city of Evanston, all of your partners have to rally to ensure that these people don't go hungry, that they don't become homeless, and that they don't put more pressure on the social safety net. And then we need to center community voices. You need to hear from people who are experiencing this. We're not getting good, real, accurate data from the federal government. We need to talk to people who are filing for their benefits, and we need to learn from them exactly what they are hearing from the federal government. So we're going to put together something on that too. And then focus on prevention. That's a little late. I mean, we really are here at the point where we can focus on the preventing people from losing Medicaid. That cliff doesn't happen until January 2027. Lastly, we got to make what we have work, and that's what wraparound is all about. I do believe that there's an opportunity for us to raise up a wraparound program, even though Evanston is a small community for wraparound, but I do think that we can get it done. Thank you. We appreciate it. This one-pager will be on the desk out with the security guard, if anybody, the audience, if you want it.
Any questions? One question I have is where it says help people keep benefits. I know you briefly mentioned Medicaid, but when we think about how to help people keep SNAP potentially, do you have any response to that? What can we do to help?
I do. There are a few things, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Is it Pro Tem? It's Pro Tem, right?
Councilmember Burns, Mayor Pro Tem, Chair, pick one.
The first thing is making sure that your information with DHS, the Department of Human Services in the state of Illinois, is accurate.
Okay.
The second thing is we are working to put up a notification system so people know when these eligibility cliffs happen. There's a new eligibility interval cycle where it's not every 12 months anymore, it's every 6 months, and a lot of people don't know that. They're going to miss those redetermination meetings. So those are 2 or 3 things that we can do with the community of recipients here in the city of Evanston.
Thank you. Councilmember Rogers.
Yeah, thanks. This is something that we've been working, I work for a church as my day job. And so we have a meal program. And we've been working really, really hard with the people who come to that program in order to try to find work that meets the work requirements for them, which is a great way for people to get involved and help people keep their SNAP benefits, because the biggest challenge for lots of them is finding the work. And so if you have opportunities to provide work to people, please reach out to, I'm going to just call out Cradle to Career since they're right here, but any of the social service agencies that we have, and try to find a place for these people to actually get their work requirement in so they can maintain their SNAP benefits.
And Governor Pritzker is raising up a mechanism, sort of an initiative for people to volunteer with the state, and you can do community service with the state of Illinois to keep your SNAP benefits.
Councilman Rogers, I appreciate you saying that, because that's probably what I had on the top of my mind is how can we help people meet the work requirements? And so I'd love, Manager Stowe, if between Joe Fields, Director Ogbo, if you can schedule a meeting, with Cradle to Career to see. And so for those who don't know, Joe Fields is our workforce development manager for the city. And then Ike Ogbo is our health director. And so if we could, get a meeting together to figure out what we can do in partnership to help people meet those eligibility requirements, especially as it relates to work, the minimum work requirement, whatever that might be. I think that would be an important step. And then if there's any information, like a summary that you can provide council as to what those requirements are, what the new income requirements are, work requirements, or any other details to help us better support our constituents, I think we'd all appreciate that as well.
And we are working with our nonprofits for volunteer and work so work requirements can be met.
Yeah.
Because they can be through volunteers. So we are surveying all of our nonprofits, all of our partners, and we will share all of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Nusma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I was just chatting with the city manager, recalling a conversation we had a month or so ago about potentially using city resources to pair SNAP recipients with volunteer opportunities, because that's another way of qualifying. What are we able to offer at this point?
Sure. I just wanted to share there's a Volunteer Evanston webpage where nonprofits and organizations can submit volunteer opportunities. Then we post those opportunities and kind of serve as a matchmaker service for recipients.
That's great. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and I think we can learn more about what each other are doing during that meeting. So I'd love to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly and Baxter. Appreciate you being here tonight. I also wanted to share just briefly, remind folks that the Evanston Chamber of Commerce and the Northwestern's Office of Neighborhood and Community Relations is offering a free bus service called Hop Around Evanston to our business districts on Saturday evenings from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That service started in early April and continues through June 20th. The bus route stops at 13 different locations. It loops counterclockwise around Evanston. And you can learn more about Hop Around Evanston and the map at the Evanston Chamber of Commerce website. And then lastly, just very briefly, I wanted to thank those who were able to join us for the celebration that we had at Robert Crown about 10 days ago. It's great turnout from elected officials and staff and other community stakeholders. And I just want to share a couple of stats about that system. The system output is over 1.2 million kilowatts per hour. The useful lifespan of the system is 30 years. The consumption offset is 34% of Robert Crown's electricity usage, and the life cycle savings over that time frame is over $3 million. I just wanted to share those stats. And again, thanks for those that were able to join us.
And real quick, actually, first, is your light still on or from before? Councilmember Newsom, please. Yep.
One of the other stats, how much did it cost us?
Zero.
How much is it going to cost us to own and operate over the lifetime of the contract?
Zero.
Thank you.
On the shuttle side of things, so this is a free shuttle, correct?
Correct.
13 different locations.
Correct.
And I wanted to emphasize this again because I swear I've been a part of so many community meetings over the years, and I feel like this is something that has come up consistently in those meetings. And so oftentimes I think people remember it's easier to remember what the city is yet to do, but I want to make this a moment where we recognize that this is one of the things that I have heard many times. And so I haven't looked it up myself. So hopefully it's the right locations, right time of day and all of that. But please look into it and, let us know if this is meeting a real need that we have in our community.
And the last thing I would add is that there's data collection that's occurring. And so I think there's already been a request to adjust the bus route just a little bit. So we're doing some data collection to see if we can do that for future bus routes and going forward.
Thank you, City Manager. Next up, we have communications from the City Clerk.
You guys received some emails in your inbox regarding the circuit breaker program, the landmarking, and I think like one other that wasn't clear about what program it was. And then other than that, I just wanted to let the community know that the clerk's office has been working to update under our office, the different tabs on the website. So you can go on to the clerk's tab and then find the City of Evanston Document Center now, where you can access Laserfiche and access a lot of public documents. Just so the community knows, with the new website update that we did, the website transition, we're still waiting for a lot of documents to be transferred over to the clerk's office via web transfer. Once that information is transferred to my office, we will then add all of those documents that used to previously live on the old website onto the document center. But if you go under the city clerk's office, you look at the document center listed there, you will be able to find minutes dating back to 1860 and different items, and just like, it's like total nerd stuff. If you guys are into this stuff, like, I love it. But and then we're working on different ways of indexing documents and just making it easier for you guys to search. There's a lot of cool features coming to Laserfish too. And I'll update those as we have them. There's also a new compliance requirements tab for all boards, commissions, and committees, so you can look at all the different types of compliant metrics that volunteers, staff, and our council members have to meet throughout the year. And there is also another tab where you can see the city council agendas and minutes. And there's another tab where you can see all the boards, commissions, and committees. And with that, with the transition of our new meeting management program, we also created a public comment directory. So you can go on to the boards, commissions, and committees tab now and click on the public comment directory, or find that link also in the public comment guide, where you can go to one simple page and find every single link where you can email and or sign up for public comment if it's available virtually or via email there. So you don't have to be digging around on many different sites to find that. So it's pretty cool stuff if you guys care about that stuff. But that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, City Clerk. Next up, we have public comment. Everyone will receive 3 minutes. As always, we will start with those who signed up online to speak in person. If this is your first time, you can sign up online. Clerk, do you want to explain where they go to do that? But you can sign up online to make a public comment in person or virtual if you didn't know. And there is a link on
in the public comment directory
There we go.
that I just mentioned.
Thank you. First up, we have Thomas Weber, if I pronounced that correctly.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I just want to start off by saying it's really great to hear about all of the great work the city's doing on migratory birds and water and cradle to career, helping keep SNAP benefits. So it was really great to hear all that. But my name is Thomas Weber. I live in the 6th Ward. I'm the nominator for the Willard Landmark designation, and I urge you to approve the ordinance before you. Willard's a beautiful public school, more than a century old, and the Preservation Commission unanimously found that it meets the city's requirements for designation and retains excellent integrity. This was not a routine recommendation. It followed careful scrutiny and unanimous approval by the commission. The commission described Willard as a prominent visual landmark and community anchor, and I think that's exactly right. Its architecture reflects not only the work of an important architect, Henry Rader, who also designed landmarked Orrington School, but a time when public schools were built to embody civic aspiration. Approving this ordinance would also be consistent with Evanston's long-standing practice of protecting distinguished public school buildings. 6 public school buildings are already landmarked: Washington, Orrington, Oakton, ETHS, Haven, and Nichols, and several of those were built after Willard. This nomination fits squarely within that tradition. And this nomination did not arise from just me. More than 100 residents signed on to the landmark nomination last fall, reflecting broad neighborhood support for recognizing and protecting this place. And because Councilmember Rogers raised a thoughtful concern last time about burdening future owners, I would note that landmark designation does not prevent future adaptation. If the property were to ever change hands, which may never occur given its continued use as a public school, designation can support thoughtful adaptive reuse and make preservation incentives available to help make that viable. And this place carries civic meaning beyond architecture. It's widely understood to be the first public building in Evanston named for a woman, honoring Frances Willard, the famed Evanston suffragist and reformer. And it was built just after ratification of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote, at a moment when naming a public school in her honor carried particular significance. In the Commission's words, the school's structure and grounds that comprise Willard are irreplaceable. I also want to thank the Shorefront Legacy Center for contributing research and perspective to the record. In fact, Shorefront's contributions here show how preservation can help bring forward previously untold or undertold histories and stories that remain overlooked. And I would simply say this: preserving a place and acknowledging fuller histories are not opposing values. In fact, they reinforce one another. At bottom, this is about stewardship, safeguarding the city's historic, cultural, and architectural heritage for current and future citizens. I respectfully ask that you approve the ordinance. Thanks.
Next up, we have William Carter.
Good evening. I am William Carter, formerly of the 5th Ward. I want to speak briefly on the circuit breaker program. It's been worked on, it's been vetted, it's been approved by people who are knowledgeable in what's needed to help the elderly. The elderly in this city are the most vulnerable. They help build the city, they've raised their families, they've paid their taxes, they've contributed to the building of Evanston. And the way the tax situation is right now, they can be taxed out of their homes and ran out of Evanston. To change the circuit breaker and turn it into something that's like a loan program is literally putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole, because you're not helping them, you're just covering up the problem for a short period of time. It's not helping them. I'll move on to the Wesley situation. You want to give them another year. Again, that is a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. And if you think about it, you shot the gun. They need something permanent. The city of Evanston can start looking towards vouchers that's going to help these people stay in their homes without having to worry about losing their homes like they did 2 years ago. We need that security back. That's all I have to say for right now. Thank you.
Next up, we have Jamie Upkey. Jamie Upkey. All right. Vicky Proctor.
Good evening, council members. I'm here tonight from president of the I'm president of the Friends of the Evanston Farmers Market, an organization that was started at the request of the city in 2010. And through those years, SNAP was brought up earlier. We've given in excess of $160,000 to SNAP shoppers at our market. And tonight we're here to ask for your support in passing the amended Farmers Market Ordinance. And I want to thank in particular the Parks and Rec Department, working with them, and in particular Matt Poole, who helped us to make some significant changes in improving our market. So we're here tonight to ask for your support, and we thank you for your hopefully continued support of this wonderful organization, this wonderful institution in Evanston. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Hill.
Hi, Frank Hill, 7th Ward resident and Board Vice President of Rezoning for Better Evanston, or RBE, regarding the landmarking of Willard School. As to landmarking Willard, RBE is agnostic. RBE is a nonprofit organization founded in large part to help stem the outmigration of Black residents from Evanston by working toward abundant, affordable housing and anti-displacement. As such, RBE is founded on the principles of advancing racial equity and working to undo anti-Black racism in Evanston. Residents of Evanston pride themselves on diversity and in being the first city in the U.S. to adopt municipal reparations. However, adopting a formal program of municipal reparations is just one step toward repairing the harm done to generations of Black Evanstonians present here since at least 1855. Tonight, City Council considers the landmarking of Willard School. There's no need for me to repeat all the history in Shorefront Legacy Center's report. I hope that you have all taken the time to read it. Northwest Evanston and Willard School exist on land that was stolen twice. Once from Native Americans and then again from people of limited resources who were essentially undesired by the city of Evanston. The population of this area prior to being annexed consisted of both whites and blacks, including a large number of Black households who had purchased, built homes on, albeit without indoor plumbing, and lived on the land that now makes up Northwest Evanston. RBE is somewhat is agnostic to the landmarking, as I said. However, should the school be landmarked tonight, we advocate for two interrelated things. First, there needs to be a much more rigorous and public acknowledgement than exists in the Commission's report of the history of the site that honestly recounts the intersection of racism, classism, and segregationist zoning that led to the building of the school. Second, if after Willard is landmarked, and D65 shutters the school to make up for more of its budgetary shortfalls, then the City of Evanston should use any tools at its disposal to both acquire the site and develop through adaptive reuse into dense, diverse, affordable housing. That is the true spirit of repair that should be embraced by this first U.S. city to adopt municipal reparations. Thank you.
Angie Hammerall. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is there Angie that would like to make a public comment? Next up, we have then Angela Panisi.
Hi, good evening. My name is Angela Wilson Panisi. I'm a resident of the 9th Ward. The purpose of the Minority Women Disadvantaged Evanston Business Enterprise Committee is to identify and assess the needs of this community on a regular basis and develop a program to address the established needs. I served on this committee for 4 years and worked tirelessly, but I feel ultimately ineffectively, to support the committee in fulfilling its purpose. I will agree that the committee's input over multiple meetings focused on the responsible bidder ordinance did positively influence the protections for local businesses that were included in the final ordinance. And I also understand that in the year since my term ended, that the committee has made some progress in supporting these businesses in the procurement process and has some momentum around the evolution of the local employment program. The staff working with this committee are primarily tasked with managing and reporting on the procurement process and the LEP, Local Employment Program. However, this committee continues to utilize a work plan that is more than 3 years old, with persistent challenges in achieving its objectives, particularly with businesses that are focused on consumers, so B2C type of businesses. We discussed creating a directory of MWD-EBE businesses and made recommendations to support the creation of such a directory for 4 years. I see it as still being discussed by the new committee members, yet I'm not aware of any progress made towards achievement of this goal. For this committee to materially progress towards fulfilling its purpose, additional resources or staff support outside the current support and committee members themselves will need to be engaged to complete the work. With appropriate support, the committee that should then be held accountable towards achieving its established objectives. My hope is that this committee can avoid being a paper committee, making an empty promise to our local minority, women, and disadvantaged-owned businesses. If the council does not view these objectives as a priority by the city, the purpose of this committee should be amended to accurately and transparently reflect its activities. Finally, I believe it's this disconnect between the stated purpose and the activities of the committee that has contributed to committee member turnover and low meeting attendance. Thank you.
John Moore. And John, I think, is online. Is there a John? Do you see a John Moore online? All right, John Moore, would you like to make your public comment?
Sure, certainly. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm John Moore. I'm a Ward 1 resident, and farmers market season is upon us now. It's very exciting for me, and it's a highlight of the family here in the summer months. I'm just wanting to comment in strong support of the changes to the farmers market ordinance to improve the integrity of the market, including especially the prohibition on selling wholesale produce and goods. You know, it seemed obvious to me in reading the existing language in the ordinance that that was prohibited given the locally grown requirement. But given that some of this must be happening, I support the additional clarification in the ordinance to prohibit reselling wholesale produce and goods. And I just also say that to the extent the city is not doing this already, I would urge it to occasionally spot check farms themselves to ensure they're growing most of the produce they sell. My niece actually used to work until recently worked for the Fairfax County, Virginia farmers markets and regularly inspected the farms in the region to be sure that they were growing only what they were selling. So, in short, a little enforcement by the city will go a long way towards protecting the integrity of the market, which is a real distinguishing feature from some of the other markets in the region. So, thank you very much.
All right, and last we have Renee Payton. Is Renee online? Okay, that concludes public comment for this evening. As has become customary, each chair now, before we go to special order of business, will read through the items that were voted out of those committees to council. And so we'll start with the administration and public works items.
Okay. First item is item A1, Resolution 84R26, approval of the City of Evanston payroll bills list and credit card. Item A2, Resolution 85R26, approval of BMO Harris Amazon credit card activity. Item A3, Resolution 52R26, approval of contract with Innovation Landscape for the Chandler Tot Lot Improvements Project. Item A4, Resolution 53R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Compass Transportation for the Parks and Recreation Department summer bus transportation. Item A5, Resolution 56R26, authorizing the city manager to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County Forest Preserve for collection of refuse containers in Perkins Woods. Item A26, Resolution 60R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Ampol Group International for the Fleetwood Jourdain exterior renovations project. Item A7, Resolution 61R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Hard Rock Concrete Cutters for the 2026 sidewalk grinding program. Item A8, Resolution 62R26, approval of a single source contract with a Tolfer Incorporated for the rental of a 200 kilowatt standby generator for an 11-month term. Item A9, Resolution 63R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Boulder Contractors for the 2026 water main improvements and street resurfacing. Item A10, Resolution 64R26, authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 3 to the agreement with Alliance Contractors for the 2025 alley and sidewalk improvements. Item A11, Resolution 65R26, authorizing the city manager to execute amendment number 1 to the agreement with Schroeder & Schroeder for sidewalk improvement program. Item A12, Resolution 66R26, approval for an agreement with Joel Kennedy Construction Corporation for the 2026 annual lead service line replacement project.
I'd like to pull that one, please.
Which one is that again?
A12.
Okay. A2.
A2, and I'll pull A6.
And I should have said this, but you can pull items as you hear them. You don't have to wait to the end.
Okay, item A13, Resolution 67R26, approval of an agreement with okay.
That one was held
That
in
one was
committee.
held over, so A13 is pulled, it was tabled. Item A14, Resolution 69R26, approval of a contract with Suburban Tree Consortium for the purchase of trees and planting services in the Channelside Parks for spring of 2026. Item A15, Resolution 77R26, approval of the purchase and installation of 5 dual-port electric vehicle charging stations for public use at the Levy Senior Center and 3 dual-port electric vehicle charging stations for municipal fleet use at 1800 Maple Self Park Garage. Item A16, Resolution 78R26, approval of a sole source agreement with Spring City Electric Manufacturing for the purchase of 10 Talmadge streetlight poles. Item A17 is Resolution 80R26, approval of a contract for the National Bridge Inspection Standard Engineering Services. Item A18, Resolution 82R26, a resolution authorizing the City of Evanston to join cities and counties for citizenship. Item A19, Resolution 87R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the professional services contract with Passport Labs. Item A20, Resolution 88R26, authorizing the city manager to execute a one-year contract extension with Cannon Cochran Management Services for third-party administration of general liability and workers' compensation claims. Item A21, Ordinance 37026, authorizing the sale of city-owned real property at 1811 to 1815 Church Street. Item A22, Ordinance 39026, amending Evanston City Code Title III, Chapter 3, Farmers Market. Item A23, Ordinance 33026, amending City Code Title VII, Chapter 10. And item A24, that's it.
Councilmember Burns, did you want to, on A21, suspend the rules to take immediate action on A21? Which is the sale of property at 1811 to 1815 Church Street?
We just need to pull it then, right?
Yeah, so we'll pull A21.
So I have A2, A12, A13 was held in committee, and then A21. So A2,
all-
A12,
A8.
A21. A8? Was
And
A6 pulled?
A6.
A6?
Pardon?
Was A6 held in committee?
I'm sorry, I just meant to pull it now.
You're pulling it now. Okay, so I have A2, A6, A8, A12, and A21. Any others? Okay. What do we have next up after?
P&D.
Is this me? I can't
Planning and
remember.
Development Committee.
Who's planning and development? Is this me? It's
We
been a while
have.
since we've met. All right. For Planning and Development Committee, P1 Ordinance 23026, designating the property located at 2700 Hurd Avenue, commonly known as Francis Willard Elementary School, in Evanston Landmark.
I'd like to pull that one, please.
All right, P1. And then Human Services Committee, is that Councilmember
I think that's me.
Geracaris?
HS1, Ordinance 35026, amending City Code Title 10 to prohibit certain vehicles from parking on roadways.
All right, and then next up we have, is this Social Services? Councilmember Harris?
SSC 1, Resolution 75R26, use of CDBG funds for FY year 2026 public services.
I need that one pulled.
All right, so that is SSC 1.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then we have Resolution 70R26, approving, what is? Approving DeVille Evanston LLC's Class C restaurant liquor license application for Pizzeria DeVille, 1527 Chicago Avenue. We have LB2, Resolution 71R26, approving Night Owl Productions LLC's Class E entertainment venue, small liquor license application for Local Note Jazz Club, 1716 Sherman Avenue. LB3, Resolution 72R26, approving Fred's Bread LLC's Class C restaurant liquor license application for Fred's Bread Bakery and Cafe, 817 Noyes Street. LB4, Resolution 73R26, approving Heritage Diners, Inc.'s Class C restaurant liquor license application for Everest Indian Cuisine, 630 Church Street. LB5, Resolution 74R26, approving Bunny Concepts LLC's Class C restaurant liquor license application for the Adult Bunny, 1010 Church Street. LB6, Resolution 76R26, Taste of Nepal LLC's Class C restaurant liquor license application for Taste of Nepal, 610 Davis Street. LB7, Ordinance 38026, amending City Code Section 346, classification and license fees to extend permitted hours of alcohol service for Class E2 entertainment venue medium liquor license holders. And then under appointments, we have Resolution 68R26, appointing BCC members. I'm sorry? Oh, and then all the way at the top. Where's it at? And then we have M1, approval of minutes of the regular council meeting of April 13th, 2026. All right, so I have, again, A2, A6, A8, A12, A21, P1, and SSC1. Councilmember Kelly.
So with regard to the liquor licenses, do those take two readings? Okay, so those. Okay.
Changed it.
Okay, the one that's an ordinance is, okay, okay, but otherwise they'll all pass then tonight, so great, thank you.
All right, if I can have a motion to approve our consent agenda items that we just went over.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I will move the consent agenda, which does not include items A2, A12, A2, A6, A8, A12, A13, which was tabled in committee, A21, P1, and SSC1.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved by Councilmember Nusma, seconded by Councilmember Harris. Any additional comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? All right, on to special orders of business. If someone can make a motion for SP1.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move for action 81R26, a resolution authorizing the continuance of the City of Evanston's Guaranteed Income Program.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Geracaris. Is there a second for SP1?
I second.
Seconded by Councilmember Harris. And we have Allison Lepsinger, who is going to give us a presentation. Did you want to say?
Oh, wait.
Good evening, everyone. Allison Leipziger, Policy and Intergovernmental Affairs Manager. I don't have a presentation. I'm happy to kind of give an overview of where we are, which is that we did our second round of guaranteed income for the most part. It was called Project 8092. It focused on families with young children in the Census Tract 8092. We used census data, ACS data, to figure out how many people we thought that would cover. As we know, ACS data is iffy at best, and the smaller the location, like a census tract, the worse the data is. So we made our best guess. We were only able to enroll 99 of the 150 families that this council allocated ARPA dollars for. So we'd like to fulfill the rest of that promise. We have $300,000 left because that will cover over 51 families. So that will cover 51 families. We have a little bit more than 300,000. And so in order to spend that and finish up the rest of the program, we're asking about how you want to tweak the eligibility to finish up round two. These funds need to be spent by the end of the year. So there are several options. You could do it however you want. One option is to do $1,000 a month instead of $500 a month, but for a shorter time period. That would personally be my recommendation. To spread it out, I think might be better for more community members, but the more you spread it out, the less the impact is. So you could do
102 households and $500 a month. Lots of options. The biggest question, and what I've put in the memo that you'll see, is and what the resolution currently says. So with no amendments, if you were to just pass it as is, it says find 51 families with the same eligibility requirements anywhere in the city, like no census tract requirement, and then we would choose by lottery. Another option that I've put in the memo, and this would require an amendment, is to focus on the next census tract that has the highest rate of childhood poverty, which is Census Tract 8102, which is in the 8th Ward. So lots of levers at your disposal, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just some real quick foundational information. So when you allocated the amount of the participants, the 150, that was the amount of participants that we thought might be eligible. We didn't know for sure. We just thought they might be eligible. That's how many might be eligible.
I mean, what we did was we took data from the E-Plan and we based it off of that, and we said 8092, the census tract, has the highest level of childhood poverty. So let's try to guess how old the child needs to be in order to get 150 families. We could only guess. We went through District 65. We tried to get data from them. We went door to door. We got 99 families. So if we had done a higher age, we would have gotten more.
Yeah. And only say that as foundational because I think the way this has been framed, maybe mistakenly, is like we failed in a sense. We didn't necessarily, I don't think the city knew that there were 150 people or families that would qualify. But I think it's a success that we were able to help 99 families. So I just wanted folks to understand that. First up, I have Councilmember Harris.
Thank you so much. So just wanting to get some data, I guess, on the people that did receive the money. Have we seen improvement? Has there been tracking? Have we done analysis of how money was spent? So I guess that's the first question.
So a foundational aspect of a guaranteed income program and a promise we made was that we don't track how each person spends their money. That's what guaranteed income is. It's like, you know what's best for your family, how you need to spend your money, and the idea is to take away sort of the government overreach into dictating what people can spend their money on, like what food, for example, SNAP is really restrictive, or Medicaid. They're all great programs, but they're very restrictive. And the idea with guaranteed income is that it's not. And so a promise we made to people was we're not going to monitor or police how you spend your money. We have aggregate data from the first round that says people spent it on housing, clothes, and food. And that's pretty consistent across the research that we see nationally about how people tend to spend their money.
Councilmember Harris.
Okay. I'd still like to see the data. I don't know if that's accurate, but I'll take your word at this point. Did we do financial literacy with everybody who was part? Did we ask them to do some financial literacy training to help alleviate, to do?
No, we offered the existing financial training that the Y does for anyone. They've got a lot of really good programs that anybody can take advantage of. So we let people know about that. But kind of the same principle applies, that we didn't put restrictions on the use of like what you had to do to get the money, or how many hoops you had to jump through to participate.
I get it, trying to provide funding, but at some point there are hoops you have to jump through. The city had to jump through them to get this money. We had to do homework, we had to fill out paperwork, we had to subscribe and do certain things. So to ask somebody, if you're receiving money monthly, to me, to say you need to do some financial literacy, it only improves that person and what they should be looking and how to figure things out. So it is my belief if we redo this program that we do have some things that people need to do. And that would be some financial literacy. That's just life. And I get it, we're not trying to restrict, but by forcing somebody to get some literacy training is not being restrictive, it's being helpful. The other thing that I would like to see is that this go to senior citizens, I think, more than the younger population. I think our seniors need it. We've talked about that. We've talked about the housing predicament and people are being priced out of their homes. I think this would, bless you, I think that this would be help. And I'd like to make sure that people who live here, that we can prove they live here, are getting this funding. I have more, but I'll come back.
Councilmember Nusma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a few questions. Bless you again. Number one, exactly how much money is left? There are two different numbers floating around out there. If it's for 51 people at $500 a month, that works out to $306,000 total. But there was a number in correspondence earlier today that said we have $349,366, which is not quite enough for another whole person, but just to be clear, how much do we have?
Yeah, it's the bigger number, 349,000 plus some change. And some of that goes for admin costs. We have to buy the cards, and hopefully we can pay a little bit for Ike's staff to do this.
That answers my second question about what, if any, overhead costs were there going to be. So that would be included in that large number.
Correct.
Okay, great. Are we obligated to spend this money on this program, on an extension of this program? What kind of constraints do we have? Can it be reallocated to different funds, different programs, different initiatives? If not, why not?
The deadline for ARPA to allocate where the money was going to go has passed. So you'll remember there were several council meetings, maybe, 6-7 months ago, where we did a whole bunch of IGAs, and we sort of had these contingency plans. If we're not able to spend the money here, it'll go to the water fund. We didn't do that here. This council allocated this money to this program.
Okay, so if we don't spend this money
We lose
in
it.
this program, we lose it.
Correct.
We can't send it to the water fund.
Correct.
We can't even use it to fund a different type of housing program.
Correct.
We can't use it for the Wesley Avenue tenants.
That's right.
It has to be used for some version of guaranteed basic income.
Yep.
Okay, good. And we have to spend that money by the
December 31st of this year.
of the year.
Correct.
Not just sign a contract that we'll have it spent in January or February.
Correct. It has to be out the door.
Money has to be out the door by
Correct.
the end of the year. Okay, so we're really kind of stuck with, if we don't want to lose this money, which I certainly do not, with one of these options that you've put in front of us, or if we can think creatively along those same lines, but we can't get too creative because we're constrained to
That's right.
guaranteed basic income.
That's right.
Okay.
And I would also mention, we don't want to get too crazy because time is of the essence. And so if we're creating a whole new program, that's
Right.
going to delay money going out the door.
All this being the case, I would be in favor of expanding eligibility citywide, going beyond just the initial census tract, and I think that's what you've identified as option.
Okay. Yes.
That's what's in front of us. If we wanted to do something different, we could modify it.
That's right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. Yeah, I would echo, I'm much in favor of option one, making this a citywide program. The other thing that I would like to see us do is Cook County did a similar program, and they recently have decided to make it a permanent program, which they're still trying to figure out the details thereof. But the one thing that was helpful, I think, was to get a participant snapshot, which they've posted on their website. So unlike, and I don't know that Councilmember Harris's question was as pointed as where did they spend the money, but I would like to get a profile of who are we giving the money to and some basic information about them, average median household income, maybe some general behaviors, things like that, without getting into the nitty-gritty of produce your receipts and show me where you spent your $500 this month.
We can do that for both rounds, the first round and this round.
And so that I think would be very, very helpful for us to understand the success of this program. I mean, obviously giving people money helps their financial situation, but by what measure and that sort of stuff, I think would be very helpful.
Great.
Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. Yes, I would also agree to expand it wide, and if it needs to, since we have to spend it, right, by the end of the year, to increase the amount, because I know it's hard, it takes a lot of labor to actually get this allocated, so I would support, increasing that to 1,000. And yeah, also, I mean, I don't expect that all to happen this year, but maybe after that gets done. I mean, if we can collect that data, like you said, I know the county promise or Cook County, they look at like even credit scores to see if those increased and things like that, where we'd have some metrics to gauge success. So, thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, so we don't always do this, but I think it's important to solidify things with motions. And so if somebody wants
To clarify, I think the motion on the table was for what's in the
Oh, is it
packet, which
already
is
okay?
option one.
Well, I heard some, the financial, I don't know if the financial literacy piece is something that we can easily weave into it, or if that would be an add-on, or how we're going to,
That would be an
I believe Councilmember Harris also said to look at seniors. This obviously is more about childhood poverty and.
Have to make a motion to change the
Exactly.
eligibility.
So I just want to make that clear that to add any of that, we'd have to make additional motions. Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see this subsidy paired with employment support, but I don't think, right now, I think we're under a deadline. So I would say, as we look to continuing this program in future years, to see about pairing it up with that would be great.
And I will just anecdotally, what we know about the research is that people who participate in guaranteed income programs typically have better employment outcomes. There's a myth that if you give people money that they'll want to stay home. First of all, $500, or in this case, $1,000 a month for a short period of time is not enough to live on. People can't just like stay home and rake in that money. But what it does is it gives people a cushion. So if your car breaks down, you don't lose your job because you can't get to work. It gives you that cushion. Sometimes the research has found that people are also more like entrepreneurial because they have that cushion. So there's like new businesses. So the research is actually really good on this.
All right. So the motion is to expand it citywide with the existing qualifications and guidelines. Let's do a roll call.
And that's
Vote
for
on it.
1,000, right?
Yeah,
To
1,000.
So we need to.
It's all.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just vote yes.
Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. So I'm not in favor of 1,000. I think 500 is the right amount, because the program's going to be going away. Even if we bring it back, it will be gone for some period of time. And so I think it's best to get it out to people, but also not suddenly cut their income by $12,000 for the year.
It would only be 6. So because it has to be out by December 31st.
Right. But by paying $1,000, that would be
$6,000.
$6,000 for this year, but it would be like a $12,000 for an annual.
You'd rather do 102 families?
I would.
At 500.
500 and more families. So I guess I'm making a motion to change.
Council Ruggie, is it a substitute motion, or what? How do we handle that if he wants
The
to?
regular motion.
I'm just amending the
An amendment.
motion.
I guess is
before.
everybody, I don't know if everybody's in agreement with that, so that's what I'm saying. How do we handle
Just a
seeing if there's support for his amendment?
Is
that what's in there already?
What's in here already. If we could clarify that, I think that'd be important. And I'm looking at page.
2,000 was the change in 500. So it's
Yeah, the way it's written on page 34 of 1281. support an additional 51 individuals or families.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Hold on, let me pull up the.
But
Yeah, it doesn't say explicitly in the resolution, so why don't we do it by motion? How much you want to give and how many families?
So Councilmember Hedicott has made the motion, so I'm going to go back to him.
I didn't make the motion.
Or moved it, I mean. You didn't move it?
I've moved it, yeah.
That's what I mean. So do you want a friendly amendment, or what do you want to do as the maker?
I think we should vote on all the, like, I think my assumption when we moved this was that it was the 1,000 as it was
How the
written.
math works out. Like,
Yeah,
the
so-
resolution says 51 families, and so to spend the money, just the math is that it would
And
be
you would like,
1,000.
Yeah.
that's what you support?
I think we should, because it's unclear, I think we should just vote on the number. But I have a question for staff before.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Yeah. So this question is just for any staff who's worked on this. How confident are you that we can, and my brain is fried with the math part. So we need 150 families then.
We need, so we
If
can
we're
do
doing
50.
500.
102. Yeah.
How confident are we that we,
If we can do 99 families in one census tract, we can do 102 over the whole city.
okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, look at the, I don't know. I will take that as a friendly amendment. So
Okay, so
102 families.
friendly amendment has been
500,
accepted.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll accept it.
Councilmember Sufferton.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're clear. So it's 102 recipients at 500 a month citywide.
For 6 months.
Okay. And does anybody want to make amendments to the eligibility, or we are confident that with the existing eligibility, we will find 102 recipients citywide for 6 months? Okay. Thank you.
So, but I have a question.
Councilmember Harris.
So what is the eligibility? Let me be clear.
It's 185% of the federal poverty line living in Evanston with children second grade or younger. 185% of the federal poverty line, not coincidentally, is the same eligibility for free and reduced lunch, which is why we picked it, so that we could work with the schools to figure out who was on those lists. And we used income tax returns as proof, so that has somebody's address on it, it has their dependents, and it has their income.
Councilmember or Harris, did you have another
Yes,
question?
I wanted, I don't know how we do it, but I wanted seniors in there. I didn't just want grade school. So, yeah.
Councilmember Kelly, and then I'm going to entertain after this motions. Let's make motions. Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, so I'd like to see it just opened up to, so that we can include seniors as well. I know they are impacted with the SNAP cuts also, so I would move to expand it to anybody who's eligible at that income.
In Council Ruggie, again, do we have to vote on this first? I can't remember. Or if somebody has another idea, can they substitute, or we have to vote on what we have before us first?
My recommendation would be that this be an official amendment, and then we go through amendments one at a time.
So we would go through this first? The Councilmember Kelly, for example, we go through that amendment first to see if there's support for it? Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought.
So I'll read. But I just want to.
Councilmember Isles, and I'll go back to you for a motion.
I want to clarify with staff, we've got a very short runway to spend this money before the end of the year. If we change the requirements from what they are now, which has sort of been established over the course of the last couple of years, and we start messing around with requirements and who's eligible, are you still going to be able to deliver before the end of the year, or is that going to make it really difficult?
When we did this program the first time around, and we had those three very distinct groups, we got over 2,600 applicants, and a lot of them were applying from like Brazil and India and the UK. Like, we had a lot of spam, and it took a long time to get through that. Working through the schools is like a little bit different. You don't have the spam, and it's a lot more targeted. Opening it up to anybody at 185% of the federal poverty line is nothing we've ever dealt with before, because the first time we did it, we had those 3 distinct groups. And so it will add administrative burden. I have no idea what that's going to look like.
My gentle suggestion to my colleagues is that we get through this as simply as possible by the end of the year. And if we're looking to create a subsequent program, then we start talking about who would be in it and whether it would include seniors. But I'm concerned that if we add seniors, it'll add some complexity and we won't distribute the money by the end of the year.
But don't we have an ombudsman that can help us do that? Somebody on staff? Just question.
I can take that. So the ombudsman is actually a state of Illinois employee, and then she helps the city. So I don't know that she would be able to help with that. Yeah, she's limited to what the state allows.
I'm going to sneak in a question. The first time we did guaranteed income, did that include seniors?
Yes, it did.
Can you remind us all what the criteria, qualifications were for that?
Sure, we did
Cohort.
three different groups. We did individuals 18 to 24-year-old. We did undocumented folks, and then individuals 65 and older, and they all had to be in Evanston and be at 250% of the federal poverty line.
Do you know how many participants who had
50-50-50.
It was 50-50-50, which would have been 50-50, okay. I only say that because I know this, there was an intentional decision made to make an impact on this group. And so I guess at this point, we've helped 99 families that fall within this eligibility criteria, 50 seniors so far. And how many participants are we saying we can help again with?
Well, if we do $500 a month, it'll be 102 households.
102 households. Okay. Councilmember Kelly, and then we're gonna, somebody needs, for an amendment. You have an amendment?
Yeah, but first I just want to comment on Sean's comment. Yeah, that was why I originally said $1,000, because I understand what we're under to try to move this along and make sure that we are able to actually pay this out. So, I mean, we had an issue with getting them all, getting the money out there. That's why I thought expanding it for citywide and then also to expand the eligibility. My question is, do we have like a 5-year residency requirement?
No.
We don't have any.
No.
So someone could move here and
Correct.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to just add a 5-year. Could we?
Ooh, okay.
No.
Administratively, that's tricky for us to verify.
Residency. Okay.
Okay. So at this point, I'm really going to encourage amendments. So do you have an amendment?
So, citywide. So is that in number 1 that it's citywide?
Correct.
That is there. So it's restricted to families with children under a certain age?
Correct. Yeah, and it doesn't have, if you're a grandparent and that's your dependent, you're still eligible. There's no age requirement for the head of household. It's just if whoever is taking care of the child.
Okay. I'd like to expand that to include, I won't say everybody, but to residents over 65. I just want to ensure that we get it out since we've lowered it to 500.
Is that just make the motion.
Well,
I just want to say really quickly about those 65 and older. I think one thing to consider is that 55 to 64, those are the folks who are going to be losing SNAP and have the work requirement. So just something else to consider.
So do that 55.
Do you want to change or 65 and up?
No, I'll just leave it. That's fine. unless somebody else wants to amend it, but.
All right, so the motion has been made, or amendment has been made by Councilmember Kelly. Is there a second?
No, I
second.
didn't actually make it. I withdrew it.
Oh, you're withdrawing it
I withdrew
now?
it, just so as long as it's citywide, yeah.
So no age, we're not increasing the age? You're not doing it? Okay, all right. Anybody else have any amendments? Seeing none, you do?
Yeah.
Councilmember Harris.
I'm going to go back to what I said originally. Seniors, I'll take the 55 to 64. So I'd like to amend it to include 55 to 64 with the two. You said a number for AMI, 210.
You want it to be different than what everyone else is?
No. It could
Okay, it's 185 for everyone.
Okay, 185.
And I'll second
And
that.
so 55 and up, or 55 to 60?
55 and up.
55 and up. Okay, so a motion has been made to amend the guarantee program. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Newsman.
Thank you. I'm 100% with you in spirit and in theory, but I'm going to side with Councilmember Isles because we have an existing program and we're in a time crunch to get this money out the door. I think we need to focus on simplicity and adding if we're going to do this program on an ongoing basis, absolutely, let's talk about increasing the age requirement. But for right now, I'm going to suggest we keep it as it is.
But we already had a program. She said we had 3 programs that had seniors, correct? You said we had seniors, undocumented.
Yeah, for the first round, right?
Yeah, so they're out there.
Councilmember Rogers.
Everybody that would be involved in this round would have to reapply, correct? Or would have to apply under these conditions. We don't have a pool of people that we're waiting to give money to outside of the original group of people.
Correct.
So whether we make a requirement that they be over a certain age or anything else, you're still going to have to screen these people from the very beginning, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Geracaris,
No.
Councilmember Kelly,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, aye.
Councilmember Isles.
No.
Councilmember Newsma.
No.
Councilmember Suffredin. Aye. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
Aye. What does that leave us on?
63.
Give me 1 second.
That was 6-3?
6-3.
Okay. And then now, the underlying motion, correct? Unless we have any other comments, we'll take a roll call on that.
Which is what, 500?
500
102.
I just want to be clear.
citywide, so
Yeah.
up to 102 people.
All right.
And just to clarify, 102 participants with 185 AMI? Okay.
Not AMI, 185% of the poverty level.
Allison, could you just, wouldn't mind saying it one more time?
102 families in what?
Never mind.
You sure?
Okay.
2 different groups. And I assume there's no distinction between them. How many people in each what?
Correct.
Okay. People, for both groups, 185% of the federal poverty line, not
Okay,
AMI.
federal,
100%, 185% of the federal poverty line. Living in Evanston, one group with second graders or younger, and the other group 55 and older.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Newsma.
Aye.
Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
Aye. All right, we have SP1 approved. Next up, if I can have a motion for SP2, please.
Chair, I would move item SP2, Resolution 86R26, additional financial support for the Wesley tenants.
It's been properly moved by Councilmember Rogers. Is there a second?
I will second.
Seconded by Councilmember Geracaris. You want to go first? Yep. Councilmember Rogers, do you have?
Oh, I guess I was reaching for my light. You caught me off guard. Yeah, so this is something I think is something the city has to do to support people. I, as a newer council member, don't know the whole history behind all of this. I'm trying to learn it, but I want to make sure that we do not repeat something like this again. I think there's blame to go around for everybody, but I do also want to apologize to these tenants because we did relocate them through no fault of their own. And I think we need to figure out what lessons can be learned here. There's a bunch of questions in my mind about whether inspections were done on time and in a timely manner, about sort of the money that we're spending, could that have been spent rather than relocating people to put towards repairs, and finding other sources of income for that. But I stand fully behind making Councilmember Burns' request for additional funding for the people that we have displaced.
Councilmember Harris.
Thank you. So I just have a number of questions, and I don't know who can answer, but I'm looking at these rents, and they're really high. I don't remember the families being this many people, so can I go through? I don't know who I'd be asking, if that's Sarah, about the households in general. So household one, the current rent is $2,600. How many bedrooms is that?
I don't have all that detail on these. I can try to answer what I can, but my expectation is it's a 2 or maybe a 3-bedroom.
Okay. Would somebody have that information?
Who is this?
Yes.
I got to go between a few different things, but what household is this again?
Household number 1, household of 4.
Okay, give me one moment.
So I have a set of standard questions that I'm going to ask for every household. So I need somebody to have some answers.
Ike Ogbo is on line 2, and our social services group was directly involved with some of these, so I don't know if Ike can answer questions on the individuals. I'll answer the ones I can, and we'll try to get other people on the ones that I don't.
Somebody will need to answer them. So if it's you, that would be great. If it's somebody else, that would be fine. But I do need answers. So household number 1, household of 4, that's how many bedrooms? Do we know?
I don't know. I believe
Somebody
it
online?
is.
Oh, real quick. Let me try to handle this first because I think I can get answers a little quicker. So we're talking household. I got everything pulled up now. You talking about household 1?
Yes. I'm going to
Okay.
go through each one.
Yeah. So
Please.
household 1.
I thought somebody online also.
I don't think they have access to
Councilmember
what I have
Ike.
access
I
to.
mean, Councilmember Ike. Director Ike, was that you?
Yes, I'm here. Good day, members of the City Council. This is Ike Ogbo, Director of Health and Human Services Department. Yes, we work closely with Connections for the Homeless regarding this matter. Connections for the Homeless pretty much took the upper hand in assessing the families and where to locate them and the rent. But we have some information that we can relay. I don't have that information right in front of me, but we do have our human services specialist, Maurice Wilkinson, who can.
Thank you. Maurice?
A number.
It's again, if I can now.
I'm here. Hello.
It's 3 bedrooms.
I'm here.
It's 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So
what's the next one?
I told you it was 3 bedrooms. Everybody there, so the 3 bedrooms, it's household of 4. Are there people over the age of 18? In household 1 that are contributing or just there?
Okay. As I stated, I have our human service specialist, Maurice Wilkinson, who's here. I believe.
Hello, City Council. I'm here, Ike. Hello,
Okay.
Council. Good evening, Council. Yes, that household has, from my information, they have 2 adults over 18.
Okay. And are they helping contribute? Are they part of the income we're considering?
No, the only income that was reported on there is from the head of the household.
Okay. Number 2, household of 1. So that is 1 person. Their current rent is 17. And how? That's good. That's good.
That's a one bedroom.
Okay, thank you. 1 bedroom. Household number 3, household of 3. How many, 1 or 2 bedrooms? Probably 2.
That's a 2 bedroom and both, I think, if I'm correct, that no one in that household is over 18.
Okay. Household number 4, household of 4. How many bedrooms?
That's a 3 bedroom, and they have one family member over 18, but he's in college.
Okay, so he's in college. And then there's 1 other adult contributing. That's where the income is from.
It's just 1 adult, yep.
Okay. Household number 5, how many bedrooms, how many adults?
5 is household of 2 bedrooms, 1 adult, just a kid, a child.
Okay. And then household number 6, how many bedrooms, how many adults?
2 adults. The income is from 1 adult and 2 bedroom.
Okay. Are any of these a reason why if there's more than 1 adult, there is more than 1 income listed or asked for or required?
Yes. So whoever, it's only 1 income. Well, when we from our research, the information we gather whenever we try to verify income, only the income you see is from the individual in the household. So the other individual doesn't have any income.
Okay.
For household 6 for sure.
For 6, and it seems like 1 as well.
Yeah, but we didn't get a chance to run the adults in that household to see if anyone was working in there. But I just know for sure the household 6 ran both of those individuals' information.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. So I also support this. And again, I agree with Councilmember Rogers, and at some point, taking a hard look at how this happens so we can avoid this is very upsetting to many families and seniors, especially senior citizens. So I guess my question is, so we gave Connections for the Homeless $800,000, what I understood to be for this. So are you saying that only $417,000 of that $800,000 went to support? No.
This was not exclusively for the Wesley tenants. It was the first group that we helped. Councilmember Burns made it very clear that he did not want the money to be used only in 8092 even, and it was opened up, and there are additional households that are helped with the rest of that money.
Okay, so somewhere there's an accounting of that other $400,000.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Councilmember Nusma.
How much does it cost to administer this program? So what are the overhead costs and who pays for those?
Connections gets some of the money of that $810,000 for the case management. That's the bulk of it. Maurice is doing a great deal of work with this group, and we had some funding that is in our ARPA administration that we have used to pay for some of Maurice's time on this and the other rent assistance programs, but it's only like $45,000 for both of them over the period of time.
So the
it's a
request
fraction.
in front of us tonight, $63,229.50, is direct for the tenants. That does not include
Correct.
overhead.
Correct. Yeah.
We're absorbing that, or Connections is absorbing that.
Well, no, Connections is getting some of that paid for out of because they have but we are absorbing most of our staff that's been working on it.
Okay.
Not
I'm going
quite
to
all,
support
but
this. I do think this is special treatment for a select population, but as some of my colleagues have pointed out, it's a unique situation, so special treatment is called for here. But we can't let this kind of thing happen again.
Councilmember Harris.
Thank you. This is a hard place to be. And my understanding, somebody told me today, one of the other porches collapsed within the past week. I don't know.
That's true.
What? No, I know it's true, but yeah. So, financial literacy. I'm going to keep talking about this because we're giving money, and we should, but at the same time, we shouldn't without some parameters to make sure. What do they say? If you feed somebody fish, they're good. If you teach them how to fish, they can do it. So we have to teach people, self-included. There was a time where I needed some financial literacy because I just was spending money like I had it. So is there some financial literacy tied up in this, be it through the Y, BMO? Is there some, at this point, because we've gotten almost half off of it, is there something we're going to do with some literacy?
All of the households, if they were cooperating, got wraparound services. And some of the households were more able to cooperate and were more cooperative. But it's very difficult to force people to take services. And they...
Oh, stop.
Uh-huh.
It's hard. I'm frustrated. I'm very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for us to make them do something, but it's not hard for them to take this money. Is that okay? That's what I thought.
People are in very different situations.
I get it. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to know. So for this round, I would like for anybody on this list to be mandated to do some kind of federal financial literacy. Because what changes in a year if it hasn't changed now? What changes? What's going to be different in a year? What's different? If the behavior or things haven't changed, and you're saying cooperating, so if somebody wasn't cooperating, I almost want to know because maybe they're not eligible. If you're not cooperating with what we're saying you need to do so that we can move on and maybe figure out how to fix the problem we found ourselves in, because this was not initially our problem. It became our problem because maybe COVID messed up our time frame of checking things, but this wasn't our building.
Correct. Originally, what was the promise that was made up front was that all the tenants would get at least a year of rent support. Mm-hmm. Those who were income eligible, whose incomes were under 80% of the area median income, would be qualified for a second one. But that was the end of the initial promise.
Okay. So I'm just, again, trying to understand why we're still here, what would change in a year.
I'm not a case manager. Maybe Ike and his group would be better able to respond to some of those questions.
Right. Good day, everyone. It is an item that we can incorporate in case management this time around, that it be some financial literacy in order for individuals to qualify for an extension of a year. And I think if we put that, we will make the individuals more successful in transition of the program in the subsequent year.
Councilman Rogers.
Thank you. I don't think financial literacy is the thing that got us here, to be quite honest. Were these people at risk of losing their homes before we moved them out? Do we know?
The property was not being managed by the property owners. Leases weren't being rewritten. They had a superintendent managing the buildings.
Were they at risk of losing their homes because of financial issues from them?
Well, a number of them were not paying anything. We don't have background on they weren't income qualified and various other things, to the best of our knowledge during that period of time.
Okay. I think it's a little frustrating for me that we're going to ask people that we've relocated out of their homes to go through additional steps. This is we are equally responsible for these people being gone, and I know you and I have talked about that, Ms. Flax, and we have a difference of opinion on people's level of responsibility. But I've heard from a couple council members up here that we do need to figure out what happened. And I do want to make sure that once we vote on this tonight, we just don't forget about this and not come back to it. So that is something that I really want us to do. But I think, again, people who we have moved out of their homes to start saying, well, they're being uncooperative with us. I just don't think that's the best approach. I think that these people, we have put them in a situation. It's our responsibility to take care of them for at least one more year. And do what we can to move them into permanent housing. It sounds like we've been successful with a number of those people already. And my hope is that in the next year, we can get the remaining few back onto their feet so they're able to support themselves.
Councilmember Kelly, I think you had your light on.
Thank you. I concur with Councilmember Rogers. I think I'm more concerned about, I'm glad to hear that wraparound service were offered, and we have records so we know how many people were either offered or took wraparound services?
Everybody was offered.
Right. So I guess my question is, how is that, and I know for HIPAA we can't obviously don't get identities, but I'm curious as to where those records, like how those are documented.
Case managers have regular files that they keep track of. They keep track of the meetings. They keep track of the progress.
Right.
They keep track of.
Understood, but it's a third party. So how do we provide the oversight to know that the money we've given out, and if it's, I think, to Councilmember Harris's concern about, the support needed. I'm just curious. I'm wondering, how does the city monitor when we give out $800,000 for to a third party to provide services that they are in fact, I know we don't have, they have the case manager. So how do we verify that the services are in fact delivered?
We do on-site monitoring sometimes, and sometimes we review some of those files. I have not done it with these personally. The other thing is we look at the successes. When you have people who are very low income and of 18, well, first of all, there were two, there's outcomes for each one of these groups. The first one is stable housing was secured for 5 households within a year of being evacuated. 2 were moved into subsidized senior housing. They had very low incomes, but they accepted subsidized senior housing. 1 received a permanent housing subsidy, and 1 was not eligible for a second year of assistance based on their income and took over their rent. 10 households, in addition, are stably housed after completing or nearing completion of 2 years of rent
Thank you.
assistance.
Sorry, if I may. So yes, I understand the housing
Yeah.
piece, and we're glad they got housing. I was just dovetailing a bit on Councilmember Harris's question regarding supports, and it sounds like we don't have documentation on it, but that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
But every household gets different services based on their needs.
Right. We just don't have any records or to verify, is what you just said, that in this case
I
we
said
don't.
I haven't personally
Right.
verified them.
Councilmember Harris.
So just going back to the memo, I remember when I sat in on the Wesley conversation, a tenant mentioned that they had a hole in their roof and they could not sleep in their bedroom when it rained because rain came into their homes. Didn't HODC were they in charge of this property? Who owned this property?
The Evanston Housing Coalition is the owner. The Evanston Housing Coalition is a nonprofit. that lost its capacity to manage these buildings.
Right.
They got HODC, or contracted with HODC to try to get the property under control, get them. And HODC found that they did not, many of the people had not had leases renewed. They had not had any number of other things done, including income certifications, probably, all the sort of stuff that you normally do with this kind of housing. There was one of the residents who had been given responsibility for managing the actual property.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was just trying to understand the finances, but I'm going to struggle with a person is being evicted for non-payment of their share, and they've already received 24 months of rent assistance and a 6-month extension. What changes? What is different? Then we have a senior that has an adult child that doesn't contribute towards the rent, but we now have to. Those are the things that are just causing me pause. But I get it. We are partially responsible, but are we done in a year? If this comes back, Councilmember Burns, are we done in a year? A question to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Councilmember Kelly next, and then I was going to speak at the end. I'm pretty confident that all the questions that I've heard I can answer, and so I will do that after everyone speaks their mind. Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. So, there were many, I don't know, upwards of 25 residents living there, mostly, for the most part, doing fine. Maybe there were one or two that were having some financial issues. So I just asked about the sports in general. I think on a broader discussion about, how we ensure that, a lot of tax dollar that's provided to third parties, this would be for another day, but I would like to encourage that we do look at that, how much goes to overhead, how do we verify that appropriate and sufficient services are in fact being delivered. So that's all. Thank you.
The first thing I want to start off by saying that we have one person, one of the 6 households is on Social Security. The other 5 have full-time employment. I just want to make this very clear that these are hardworking people who were living in affordable units, and they had no reason to believe that they wouldn't be able to continue to stay there as long as they remained income eligible. Which is why when HODC came in, one of the first things they did, in addition to trying to renew leases, was to income qualify everybody so that they might be eligible to for grants that require income eligibility. These are hardworking Evanston residents, probably some of the hardest working. The issue, as we all know, is that salaries are not keeping up with cost of living, which is why affordable housing units like these exist, not because people aren't working hard enough. Now, if I would not support financial literacy requirements. We should offer that anyway to anybody that feels like they need it. We should offer that. And I think people, if they feel like it would be a benefit to them, they will receive that information. For example, I literally refinanced my vehicle because of information I got from First Bank, Northern, and Trust. I just randomly went to one of their meetings. They just wanted me to go. As a council member, I went also for myself because I had just purchased a vehicle. And so I think if you make the information relevant to people, they'll use it, as I did. And so for that reason, I wouldn't support mandating it, but I think it's something that should be offered. I don't want this to get lost that out of the 18 or so households that we started off with, if they're not on this list, through a mix of their own efforts, Connections for the Homeless, our Health and Human Service Department, especially Maurice, who's on the line, and hopefully I'm not missing everybody, they are in housing they can afford. They are stably housed, and I don't want that to get overlooked. There was a comment earlier during public comment that suggested, we're not doing enough. We're not getting them in stable housing. This is just kicking the can down the road. What that individual may have intentionally ignored, but ignored is the fact that everyone else that is not on this list, through the efforts of all those organizations and people involved are stably housed now. And so all we're trying to do with, and I've went over how they're stably housed. I won't go through everybody, but it is a mix of Prim Towers, Jacob Blake. They're paying 30%, no more than 30% of their income there. Some are in HLDC units where they're paying a similar amount in rent. Others have been able to find naturally occurring affordable housing that they can afford, and so on and so forth. I don't want that to get lost, not by the media, not by this council or everybody else. If they're not on this list, they are now stably housed because of the efforts of the city of Evanston, Connections for the Homeless, and other efforts of their own will as well. I disagree with how some of the tenants are characterized in this. I'm not going to air that out today, but that the one person that's saying they didn't pay their rent, it was 1 month from what I understand, and Maurice can speak to this if we really need him to. I'd rather not, but he can. And there was an issue with the landlord. The landlord is trying to evict them. They're countersuing because they feel like the landlord is evicting them because they filed property standards complaints against them. And most of the rent that wasn't collected outside of that 1 month is because anybody knows how evictions work. Typically, the attorneys encourage landlords to stop accepting the rent if they're filing for eviction. There's a lot of information that's not in this memo. Again, I don't think it's necessary to air all that out at council. I'm happy to provide more detail offline, and I know Maurice can as well. But everybody that's here is because we've looked at their socials. We understand what their household incomes are. In order for them to even get on this list, we made it clear that by this time, you have to provide information. People provided some information to us now that they hadn't before. We require cooperation in order to even be considered for additional subsidies. So everybody here has shown cooperation. Everybody here, other than the one who's on Social Security, is fully employed full time. And in terms of, I'll close with never happening again. This council had an opportunity to look into this deeply. We've had many discussions about it. Director Flax has answered many questions. And so if you were on this council last term, I would have hoped you would have gotten all your questions answered because there was an opportunity to do that. For Councilmember Rogers and those who are new, I understand because you weren't on that council, and so hopefully staff will continue to make themselves available to you and those who were on it. But I just want to make clear, we looked into this so much so that I understand that there was, I don't remember exactly the policy change, but there was a policy change that came from this. There was, I also mentioned, and I talked to Councilman Rogers about this because I felt like this was unique in that if it was not a one-way in, one-way out buildings, if they had a back stairwell, a option may have been to shut down the front and allow traffic to go through the back. That's only an issue with these California-style walk-ups, one way in, one way out. And so this is a very unique situation that I don't think will likely happen again outside of the California walk-up style buildings, which is why when we were having this conversation, I asked staff if they could inspect all the California-style walk-ups in Evanston. They did, and determined at that time that they were all in good condition. So, and I can go on and on about things that we talked about when we looked into this. So again, I want this council to understand, the public to understand, we did look deeply into this. I think Councilman Rogers obviously is new to the council and wants to explore this in his own way, which he should. But I just want to be clear, there was a lot that came out of this discussion. I'll hold that for now. And like the last thing is, what I've said is that because there's been such success in finding stable housing for most of the households that we started with, it's reasonable to believe that if given another year, especially with the 90-something affordable units coming online, right? What was done before was done without really any new affordable units. The inclusionary housing program can't help them because it really only supports households that are about 60 to 80% AMI. And so we did this without the inclusionary housing program being able to support these residents, without any new affordable units. And so it's reasonable to believe with 90-something new units available, plus continuing the efforts that that Connections and staff has done, that at the end of this, to Councilmember Harris' question, where do we go from here? Not only have we been successful, we're confident, given that time, given the units, that we'll come back in a year and say happily that everybody is in units that they can afford. That's the goal. And I think we're realistically on track. Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. And we don't have to interrogate this evening, but I did have questions from last term regarding inspections and proper notice in terms of urgent repairs that were urgently needed and the time frame given before residents received a letter to vacate immediately their homes. So I did still have some questions remaining, but I am glad to move forward this evening to help these residents. But I just want to say, I'm glad they're stably housed, but it's not the same. Many of these residents had lived there for over 20 years, and that was their home and their neighborhood, so it's a big difference to remain in your home. And I know there were several estimates of the repairs to the stairs, which was the urgently needed item that came in around 1.2 million, I believe. And so I guess, those are all questions that I think every time there's a tragic incident like this, or where it's such upheaval, we want to say it's unique, and maybe it is, but nevertheless, there are elements in there that I think we should look at a separate time to really make sure that whatever we could improve from how that happened, what could have been improved, is acknowledged. So, thank you.
There was something you said I wanted to comment on. I can't remember, which probably means I need to leave it on. Anybody else? All right, that's roll call.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Newsma.
Aye.
Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers. Aye. Councilmember Burns.
All right. All right. You start off with A2. If someone could make a motion for A2, please.
Mr. Chair, if I could actually make a recommendation, I think we have two people who are kind of waiting. I know one of them is waiting for something I pulled off the agenda.
Yes.
I don't know if the other woman is waiting for a particular item or not, but if so, I would ask that we, she just wants to hear us.
She actually has a wonderful newsletter that I subscribe to, so she might be here trying to get the news first, maybe.
I would ask that we rearrange the agenda and pull item P1 forward so that the gentleman who's waiting for that particular item.
Yeah, with no objections, Councilman Rogers, if you want to move item P1.
I would actually ask someone else to do it since I will.
I'll move item P1, which is the landmarking of the property at 2700 Hurd, Willard Elementary School.
All right. It's been moved by Councilmember
I'll
Suffredin
second.
and seconded by Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate, the landmarking of a school does not prevent the school from being able to do anything while it operates as a school. It actually imposes the changes upon the next property owner. I have a question. Is the land being landmarked as well? Or is it just the land, the lots that have the building on it?
It's primarily the lot that has the building on it. We've separated out the parcels to the north, which are not built on. I've got Kate Sterling online if you want any more specifics about that.
All right, no, that's fine. I couldn't remember because I'd heard both ways and I wasn't sure where it finally netted out. I do understand how adaptive reuse can work in many of these situations, but I also know that that does require going through the Preservation Commission, which can be sometimes fraught for a property owner. And so with that reason, I cannot support this. I think what ends up happening is we are going to landmark all of except for about 3 schools. And when it comes time to closing schools, the District 65 is going to be faced with the challenge of closing the schools that are not landmarked versus closing the ones that are. And if they're looking for top dollar, obviously an unlandmarked property is, in my opinion, probably a more attractive site for them. So I will not be able to support this.
Councilmember Davis.
I want to confirm, has D65 given any communication or direction as to what they would prefer for this building?
I'm going to let Kate address that. They have been involved.
Hi, council members. Kate Sterling, preservation planner with the city. The school district has been involved from the start. They have recommended that the property be designated a landmark. That was with some mutual agreements that were made in terms of the specific parcels to Councilmember Rogers' question.
I don't understand anything that D65 does. So like, if that's if that's what they've said they want to do, then I'm going to go ahead and support. It is more so their jurisdiction than ours, and I'm in support of, you know, intergovernmental cooperation. But
Councilmember Geracaris.
I just want to thank community members for their work they did uncovering some of the history of Black displacement that led to the forming of the school. I'm going to be voting yes tonight because based on our current rules and standards for historic preservation, it does meet all the standards. But I would like us to think in the future of how we can maybe take steps to formalize our recognition of displacement and how that fits into our history for our neighborhood. So,
anyone else? Councilmember Harris.
I think Shorefront had a little bit to do with that as well, uncovering some of that information. So thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, I thank Shorefront for that work, and our librarians who worked on that as well. So will there be like a part of this will include a public acknowledgement of the history? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. Okay.
All right, I think we're ready for the roll call.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Nusma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sufferton.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
No.
Councilmember Burns.
All right. All right. Next up, we have A6. If someone can make a motion,
A2.
or A. Oh, sorry, that was P1. Are we good with the order moving forward? We're good. Okay. Yeah. So we'll if someone can move A2, please.
So I move approval of Resolution 85 R26, approval of BMO Harris and Amazon credit card activity.
Second.
It's been probably moved and seconded. Any comments? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
No.
Aye.
Roll call. Roll call.
Oh, we got one to abstain. I forgot about this. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly. Aye. Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Nusma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sufferton.
Abstain.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
All right. All right. A2 is approved. A6.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move item A6, Resolution 16R26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Ampol Group International for the Fleet Jordan exterior renovation project, bid 26-22.
Properly moved by Councilmember Nusma and seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. I just pulled this we had requested verification of compliance, given some concerns with the RBO.
Thank you, Councilmember Kelly. So I did speak with Tammy Nunez, the purchasing manager. She reached out to the Ampool owner. The owner was in the car. He said he would provide all the documentation in the morning, including all the employees' union cards with the proper apprenticeship program.
Okay, thank you.
As soon as I receive those, I will send them to the council in the morning.
Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. Can we please start doing this earlier? Because I think this is the second one in a row that we have said, oh, we'll approve it and we're going to wait on some information. So I don't know if there's a problem with getting information. I don't know if we can request that earlier so that when it comes to us, and I'm not faulting anyone here in the process, I'm just saying there seems to be a little hiccup when it comes to getting, especially apprenticeship seems to be the issue, so that we don't have to approve things without all the documentation. I don't doubt that we will get the documentation, but again, just trying to close up that little gap in the process.
Thank you, Councilmember Rogers. Understood. I think the issue here is that oftentimes when we're getting a bid in, the contractor doesn't know exactly all the subs they're going to hire. So they may not have that information at the time of bid, but based on the project, once they hire all the subs, the documentation is given to the city on a rolling basis. But we will certainly work to have that documentation ahead of time. We do have the proper certifications that are required under the ordinance. So we do have that, and that's what we check off as we go through.
Councilmember Geracaris. Nothing. Councilmember Sufferton.
Yeah, I just want to confirm if the documentation is not forthcoming, regardless of an affirmative vote tonight, the award will be invalidated.
Absolutely, because it does not comply with the RBO if we don't get the documentation.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yeah, so the subs are subject to the RBO also, so I feel like we need to, and I know we do have a referral for procurement, and hopefully we'll get that finalized. But until then, if there's anything that can be improved so that we are basically vetting, figuring out the sub piece also.
Yeah, and as the contractor goes, if they don't hire compliant subs, they have to find different subs. So that's what it is.
All right. We don't need a roll call for this. All those in favor? Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? All right. A, if someone can make a motion for AA, please.
I move for the resolution 62R26, approval of a single source contract with Altor Incorporated for the rental of a 200 kilowatt standby generator for an 11th-month term.
All right, it's been properly moved by Councilmember Harris, seconded by Councilmember Nusma. Would anybody like to speak to this? Councilmember Kelly?
I just had a question, maybe, which I meant to ask to APW, about the BESS, I guess it's Battery Energy Services Systems. If we'd ever do like a hybrid rental, so we'd have, partial green backup. Is that with the BESS system, BESS? Is that, I know we're waiting to purchase 2,000 watt generators, correct? So we need these temporary ones during construction.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns, members of the City Council, Darrell King, Water Production Bureau Chief. So yes, there's currently an electrical upgrade project. Our current generators have been demoed, and the contractor brought in a 750 to replace them.
Right.
This generator will serve a couple things, to provide power to the filtration plant if something was to happen to the power. But also, if the contractor 750 didn't work, we would be able to use this generator to backfeed the 480 system for critical equipment. Now, in terms of our current hookup is natural gas, and actually, this temporary generator is diesel. The generator that was recently approved that will replace this one is natural gas. That's the hookup that we have at the water plant. Now, in terms of renewables and different things like that, there may be options or something for that, but that's not what we're recommending in terms of reliable redundancy for backup power with this type of application.
Okay. Someone brought to my attention that you can get these BESS, the battery energies, and do like a hybrid. Even when you rent, you can do a hybrid. But when we purchase, if we had one of those, that you can actually save costs during peak hours by actually using that one instead. You can actually save money if you, to actually use the backup BESS system. Not when you don't even need backup, but to use it instead of the peak hours. So just putting that out there.
Yes, there are battery systems and so forth, and that's not part of this. We have looked into that, and maybe in the future that would be another redundant source that we could use at some point, but that's not where we are now. But we have looked into that, and thank you for that information.
Thank you.
Councilmember Nusma.
I'll second what Daryl said. Like, that's a great idea. Thank you for bringing that up. It makes a lot of sense to consider moving forward. The purchase in front of us tonight is for a short-term backup generator, just to be there just in case. Hopefully, we never have to turn it on. So, yeah, the battery thing is really more long-term, and there's ComEd money available too for that kind of thing. So let's moving forward. Let's consider that. Doesn't have to be part of this purchase tonight or this approval tonight.
Yep. All right, all those in favor of approving A8, Resolution 62R26, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? All right, on to A12. If someone could make a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move item A12, Resolution 66R26, approval of an agreement with Joel Kennedy Construction Corporation for the 2026 annual lead service line replacement project, which is bid 2618.
It's been probably moved by Councilmember Nusma and seconded by Councilmember Harris. Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. I had pulled this off just because there is a cost overrun on this, and I understand that, and we'll be discussing that in finance and budget. But I wanted to make everyone aware of that in case they didn't get through all the details of the packet. So we have the bid that we're accepting is, and I'm just going to look to staff to nod yes to answer my question, exceeds it by about a little over 1.5 million. Yes, they're nodding their heads yes, so that is an acknowledgement that it exceeds it by about 1.5 million. So at finance and budget, we will have to figure out what we're doing financially in order to get that additional money or potentially cut something. And they're kind of rolling their eyes at me on that one. So I don't know if they want to respond to that. And I hate to make Ms. Biggs come up for a simple question.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Biggs. I'm the city engineer. So yes, we are also looking at that, and we're fortunately able to mitigate some of the $1.5 million with additional loans that we can take out, and that ultimately results in additional principal forgiveness, which helps quite a lot. We can look at how we're doing it, but we are required to replace all the lead service lines within a specific amount of time. So there's a limited amount of value engineering. To some extent, we just have to kind of keep going.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
I have a question regarding, and I don't know if this is common, but how we publicize, and since we have, I know, in this one, this is for Kennedy, I think, Kennedy contract, and Boulder was the other bidder, respondent to the bid, and then in the other second highest contract that we have out tonight, it was flipped. It was, Boulder and then Kennedy that were just getting 2 responses. I see we advertise in Demand Star and through Pioneer Press. And I'm just wondering if that's standard, such like limited, I mean, could we go broader?
We advertised this one, the lead service line one, in the Chicago Tribune because of the EPA requirements. But we send out invitations to bid to a variety of contractors. But our work does have a lot of very specific requirements that we need to follow. And Evanston is a difficult place to work just because of the limited places to stage and how you do not have space to work in. So there's a variety of things we have working against us. These are 2 contractors we've worked with a number of times, and so they feel pretty comfortable meeting all of our program requirements.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like it would be, I mean, for that, it's a large contract, 13 million, that feels like we would be getting more respondents.
And Darrell King, Water Production Bureau Chief, and just some additional context I'd like to add is starting next year, everybody in Illinois is going to be required to start replacing lead service lines according to law. The Lead Service Line Replacement Notification Act in Illinois currently allows 20 years to do that replacement, but the lead and copper rule improvements have been accepted by the Illinois Pollution Control Board, which once that goes into effect, November 2027, I believe, and it would actually, activities would occur January 1, starting 2028. That time frame across the state could go to 10 years. Some utilities, depending upon how they score, could get a longer deferred time to replace. Evanston could possibly get 17 years instead of 10 years. But now you're talking about a bunch of work that's got to get done in the state of Illinois all at one time. So that could become an issue for how many bids utilities, municipalities are getting on these contracts.
Councilmember Nusma.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Daryl, as long as you're here, there's a mailing that just went out about lead service lines. Can you tell us what that is in case we get calls?
Yeah, so annually, we're required to submit a service materials inventory to IEPA, telling them how many lead services we have, how many galvanized requiring replacements, and so forth. So we did that on April 14th or so. Within 30 days following that, we have to notify the community where lead service lines are believed to be, galvanized requiring replacement service lines are believed to be. So we recently mailed out roughly just under 10,000 lead service line notices, a couple hundred galvanized requiring replacement notices. People have gotten those notices. These notices don't require any action. They're for informational purposes only, but they're notifying those locations, hey, we believe you have lead. Hey, we believe you have galvanized requiring replacement. Here's the risk of having lead service lines. These are the programs the city currently owns. If you have currently provides, if you have questions, there's contact information and so forth. That's a required mailing that we have to send out every year. It happens around this time every year, and we're required to send those out until they're all gone. There is
So
a.
the lead service lines are all replaced.
All lead service lines, all galvanized requiring replacement service lines. Those are galvanized service lines that have been downstream of a lead service line. And so for, the next 20 years, 17 years, 10 years, until they're all gone, we have to keep sending them out. And if we ever run into situations where we're having difficulties, let's say at the end of 17 years and we've had 100 locations that either we can't get in, they've refused, or whatever the situation is, we got to keep sending them out until they're all gone.
Thank you.
All right, we'll roll call this one.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Harris. Aye. Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Nusma. Aye. Councilmember Sufferton. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
All right. All right, next up, we have 821.
Mr. Chair, I believe you are requesting that we suspend the rules to take immediate action on this tonight.
You want to make that motion?
So, yeah, I will make the motion to suspend the rules so that we can take final action on this item tonight.
All right.
I'll second.
21 has been properly,
Well, it's 22.
we'll treat this like an amendment, right?
The motion is on suspending of the rules, and then I'll make the next
Yeah.
motion.
So that amendment's been properly moved and seconded by Councilman Rogers.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Isles.
Aye.
Councilmember Nusma.
Aye.
Councilmember Sufferton. Aye. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
All right. All right, and on to the underlying
So the rules have been suspended, so I will now make the motion on item A21, which is ordinance 37026, authorizing the sale of city-owned real property at 1811 to 1815 Church Street, and this is for final action this evening.
Second.
All right, it's been probably moved by Councilmember Newsome, seconded by Councilmember Harris. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? All right, 821 is approved. Moving on to SSC 1.
I move for the resolution 75R26, use of CDBG funds for FY 2026 public service.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Harris, seconded by Councilmember Geracaris. Councilmember Isles.
I pulled this because some of these funds go to my employer interfaith action, so I need to recuse myself.
All right. Seeing other comments, we'll do roll call.
Councilmember Geracaris.
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly. Councilmember Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Isles.
I abstain.
Councilmember Newsome.
Aye.
Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
All right. Last, we have call of the wards. I had an order somewhere, but starting off with Councilmember Geracaris.
I will have to move my office hours this week. I will be out of town. I will be sending out a newsletter with the new hours, and we'll talk to people soon.
Yep.
No report.
Councilmember Kelly, Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Isles.
I have office hours a week from Thursday on the 7th from 7:30 to 9:30 at Brothers K.
Councilmember Newsome. No report. Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Davis.
No report.
Councilmember Rogers.
Yeah, just real quickly, we had a gathering of the Howard Street Business Association and our colleagues from the Chicago side, the Rogers Park Business Alliance, at Peckage Pig last week. We had about 30 people show up. It was a great event. The city manager came down and met with the group. It was just kind of a casual cocktail hour, and they plan on doing several of these. So I will share information with my colleagues as those come forward and invite you to those as well. That's it.
All right, and so I need to make a motion to move the conversation about the emergency assistance, expanding the emergency assistance program to allow for property tax relief funding to the June 8th meeting, because we have our health department, members of our health department will be out of town, and of course it's important that they're here to participate in that discussion. It was scheduled to be May 11th, but I talked to Director Ogbo, and he asked if we can move it to June 8th, and I asked him if at that time he could have an actual program for us to look at. And just to be clear, it's not a new program, that he's just going to explain to us how they would expand it to include property tax relief, and he'll have that ready by the 8th. So I think I can make that motion. And it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Or unless, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Only last thing, I wanted to make a few more comments on the assistance to the Wesley tenants. What I forgot to mention is in your memos, you'll see that there's a bullet point that says if they hadn't received the subsidy, how much of their income would be going towards rent if they did not receive the subsidy. And this is this is really the primary reason why I asked council to support this extension. And so remember that 30% or more is housing cost burden, 50% or more is severely housing cost burden. And so one household would be at 86% without the subsidy, another at 172.5%. That's the individual that's on Social Security. One would be 36.7%, another 42.6%, 61.4%, and 67.7%. I did also want to comment on, there was a suggestion earlier that we could have allocated funding for the steps. And I've said this, and I'll say it every time I hear it, we would have been giving millions of dollars to an organization that had already shown that they not only could not keep the building safe by making sure that the steps and balconies were repaired, but as Director Flax mentioned, we also had reports of other issues with the building. So we would be giving funds to an organization that has shown they couldn't take care of the balconies and steps, hadn't taken care of other issues. Unfortunately, they weren't reporting a lot of those complaints to the city, but we found that they were reporting them directly to the owner. And it was unlikely that the board was still organized, that they were meeting on a regular basis. That's who we would have been giving money to. And I don't think a majority of council up here would have supported doing that. So every time people bring that up, that's what I'm going to bring up. And if you want to say, yep, that was still a good, we should have supported them, then say that. But that's the money that's the organization we would have been giving the money to. What we decided to do instead is to still support these households as we've done today, but to try to get them to more stable, quality housing. I also think we need to be careful speaking for people, because there are some people that actually prefer their new units to the old ones. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't miss the community that they had there, but let's be careful to speak for people. I think they can speak for themselves. I know that they're really looking forward, the 6 households are looking forward to these extensions, and I appreciate that support. That's all I have. Seeing no additional matters before us, I call the city council meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.